Wanting to stir in the Gulf, our area of interest is now an invest. That means the National Hurricane Center will be investigating this area more closely. Invest 93L showing some signs of life this morning as it nears the Florida Peninsula. The system will move west. It's going to cross land today. Tropical downpours, almost a definitive. It's possible in the next 48 hours we could actually have a tropical depression in the Gulf.
All right, so let's go ahead and take it out to Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel. Mike is joining us from Biloxi, Mississippi. Mike, you're obviously on the ground right there, beachside. Beautiful start. I mean, I can see how calm the water is behind you. But on the ground tracking what is now Invest 93L, going to look a lot different here in about 48 hours.
Yes, it should. We should get some rain and thunderstorms in here. First things first, today we have another heat advisory today from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. along the Gulf Coast into Louisiana. That means it's going to be hot and sticky. Our heat indices may top out at 105, even 107, 108. That goes from 10 to 7. Our high this afternoon, 95, the actual temperature. But our dew points are in the mid-70s. This morning we're starting off in the mid-70s, and it was darn comfortable at sunrise. Now the sun is starting to heat up, and I can feel it on my face already here at just after 7 a.m. Central. You mentioned the Gulf. Look at this. I mean, it's like a lake. We have just a little ripple out here. This is not that unusual in the summertime when you don't have much wind. I mean, waves are caused by wind. The energy gets transferred to the surface, and you get the wave action. And there's very little tidal range on the Gulf at this point. You can see where low tide and high tide are. So we have very little to worry about. And we're not going to worry about surge at this point by any means. First thing I want to show you is the radar forecast. So the center of this invest is off the coast, not far from Cape Canaveral, the Melbourne Space Coast area. And it's forecast to go across Florida and then into the Gulf later today, tonight, into Wednesday. And then after that, the models differ. Does it hug the coast? Does it go south and come north into Louisiana? And what do we have? Do we have a depression? Do we get a storm? Well, the hurricane hunters are scheduled to go out there later this morning. We'll see if that mission is a go. They'll make that decision in the next couple of hours. And even if they don't go or not, we know what's going to happen today based on all the forecast. That spin is going to cross the peninsula, and most of the rain today will fall in Florida, not here. We don't expect any rain here today. It's going to be sunny, hot, and sticky. As far as rainfall totals, now this is the forecast right on through Friday and Saturday. Notice the heavier totals will be here in Mississippi and Louisiana. Here in Mississippi, especially near the coast, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches, and into southern parts of Louisiana. This is all subject to change based on the track and what we end up with. But again, along and to the right of the center of a depression, if we have one, or a storm, or even if we don't, we're going to get the most rain. A lot of that, depending on the track, may fall over the Gulf and not over the land. So there's a lot to watch and a lot to be determined. But right now, we're not expecting any hurricane action. We may not even get a tropical storm. It remains to be seen if we're going to have a tropical depression. But the rainfall will be the main impact, like we had with Chantal just a couple of weeks ago. So, Marissa, beautiful day on the beach. You know, I've had a lot of these lately. And nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining after last year's hurricane season.
Yeah.
If we can just cover tropical storms and depressions, that would be fine with us and fine with everybody else in the areas along the coast, the Atlantic and the Gulf.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think you look at how quiet it is on the Gulf behind you. When you consider heat indices are going to be around 110 today, where we have those heat advisories, I guess it could feel a little bit better trying to jump into that water that's near 90 degrees. But it's just hot out there. And in some way, maybe the rain would bring a little bit of relief. But to your point, we don't need flooding rain.
I don't think that's... No, and I don't think that's going to happen today. I think the chance of rain here is pretty close to zero.
Yeah.
Just too stable now, maybe off to the west and certainly over the Florida Peninsula. We've had some rain, some heavy rain this morning in the Florida Straits just north of Key West and the Middle Keys and Lower Keys. And there were some showers this morning around the Space Coast associated with the invest. And we'll wait to see. Again, it's just to watch and wait. And we'll see what happens when it gets into the Gulf. The water is warm, but the upper level winds, the dry air getting in train, the conditions are not favorable for any kind of rapid intensification, much like they were with Chantal. Although Chantal took off right before it made landfall.
Yeah, right before heading into the Carolinas, and then, of course, taking all of that moisture, all that rain into North Carolina especially. So hurry up, wait and see, and I know you'll be on top of it. Fox Weather Storm Specialist Mike Seidel out of Biloxi, Mississippi, where it's going to be a hot one. Thanks, Mike.